Hashem's name will be blessed forever and ever. Shalom, everybody. We are going to study today more laws about Purim, and we have Rosh Chodesh of Adar Bet coming soon. This Shabbat we will announce it Sunday, Monday, Rosh Chodesh, and 15 days later it's Purim, Baruch Hashem, and then we start to study the laws of Passover. And so today I want to focus a little bit about the brachot and move on to more halachot about Purim. There's a bunch to learn about the blessings. So there's many questions. How many blessings we should do? What if someone missed a blessing? What kind of a Megillah one should use? What if I missed few words? Sometimes there's a lot of noise around you. Some people sometimes, which is very bad, late. We're reading Megillah, is it, let's say, 7:30, they come 7:35, they miss already the first chapter. How they can fulfill the mitzvah without listening to the entire Megillah reading? If so, how you can compensate for it? And so forth and so on. So this is the kind of halachot that we will discuss Be'ezrat Hashem today. If someone, okay, so before beginning the Megillah, we're going to do 3 brachot. I don't know if you mentioned that last time. Asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah. Second one is called Sha'asa Nisim, that God performed miracles to our forefathers. And the third one is Shehecheyanu. Okay, during the day you say the same, but you omit Shehecheyanu. You don't say Shehecheyanu because you already said it at night. If you missed it at night, you have to say Shehecheyanu in the morning. Obviously the cantor, before beginning the blessing, he must make sure everyone are listening. Okay? It's imperative to understand you can't miss even one single word from the Megillah reading. How you can compensate for it if you miss a word or two or more. Okay, so we'll see it Be'ezrat Hashem momentarily. When we do the mitzvah of Mishloach Manot, when sending the gifts to each other, and we will see what is this called, what is this Mishloach Manot, what consider Manot, what kind of portion, what kind of gift we're giving, what's the minimum required, and what's the minimum amount you should give to poor on Purim. This is something we'll study later, so please stay tuned. But we don't say Shehecheyanu on a bracha, on a mitzvah like giving these gifts or giving to the poor. So when we say Shehecheyanu, when we read the Megillah, we have in mind to cover for these mitzvah that we will do later on or the very next day. Okay. When reciting the blessing of Shehecheyanu before reciting the Megillah, it is correct to have intention for this blessing, to thank God for enabling us to the opportunity to fulfill the mitzvot of Mishloach Manot, eating in Purim feast and giving charity to the poor. Okay, so we have to have it in mind, and we cover for that as well. A common mistake when people reply Baruch Hu uVaruch Shemo. You heard these words before? Yeah. Okay, we say Baruch Atah Adonai. So people reply Baruch Hu uVaruch Shemo. What's Baruch Hu uVaruch Shemo means? He is blessed and his name is blessed. All right. It's not okay to say it all the time. Okay, because if a certain time if you say it, you created a break, and the blessing that right now will be said will not cover for you, because the bracha needs to be heard from the beginning of it till the end. And I'll give you an example. When you hear Kiddush on Friday night, so how the Kiddush goes? The bracha, the blessing, I'm going to skip the whole part, go to the blessing. Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen, right? Yeah. Good. Some people mistakenly, when they hear Baruch Atah Adonai, Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo, you're not supposed to say Baruch Shemo. You have to listen quietly to the entire bracha, to have in mind to fulfill the mitzvah by listening, and the one who said the bracha have in mind on you when he says the bracha. This is how you fulfill the mitzvah of the blessing. But if you say Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo, it's done. Now you have to say the bracha for yourself, because it's considered a break. You can't even say Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo. Not to mention people that are talking during bracha or saying other words. Hey, come over here. Hey, put the table, put the chair, give me this, give me that. In the middle of bracha, you didn't fulfill the mitzvah for sure. Okay? Of bracha. What do you need to do one more time? Sit tight, listen quietly to the beracha, and don't reply with Baruch Hu Uvaruch Shemo. When the congregation listens to the cantor reciting the blessings of the Megillah on their behalf, they must take care not to respond with the phrase of Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo, since this will be an interruption in the middle of each blessing. They should respond Amen only. Okay? Now, what if you accidentally did it? But we're depending on the blessing from the cantor, and I don't have a kosher Megillah before me. So in this case, you fulfill the mitzvah by listening to it. But be careful not to do it. Okay? Nevertheless, if someone did respond with the phrase of Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo in regards to the Megillah, he has fulfilled his obligation of reciting the blessing. Not to compare with the blessing over the wine that we mentioned, because you can do that by yourself. It's nothing to do with having the need to have kosher Megillah or something like that. Okay? If someone holds a cup of, water or soda, and he wants to say bracha shehakol niya b'tocho for everybody that around him that having a cup of water or soda, they can do it. If someone spoke or said Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo, now he needs to say the bracha over the drinks by himself. It's easy to do. So far so good? Any questions? Good. Okay. In case he didn't hear the beracha, he didn't say the beracha. If someone began reciting Megillat Esther and then realized that he had omitted the blessing of Shechianu or either of the other blessings, he may stop at whatever verse he is up to and recite the blessing he omitted, so long as he has not completed the entire Megillah. Okay? If you finished it, you can say more Shechianu, say Shechianu at the very next day. So it's different customs. People get confused before studying the Megillah. Should we stand? Should we sit? They're listening to the brachot. It's a different custom in different communities. So some stand when they're listening to the blessings. The cantor waits, everybody sitting, putting the fingers on the wording on the Megillah, and then he starts. Okay? He waits so people will sit, they're making noise with the chairs, the table, and then he starts. Some communities, they remain sitting, and only the cantor is standing, and two people around him. Depends on the custom of that synagogue. Someone asked a question, Rabbi, I have a kosher Megillah. Fine, I have Baruch Hashem kosher Megillah. It's not expensive. They cost like $1,000 an app. It's something good to have. Good to have in the house. It's a blessing in the house. It's nice to put aside some money and buy for yourself a kosher Megillah. So someone comes with a kosher Megillah to the shul, to the Bet Knesset, and he wants to say the blessing by himself because he has his own kosher Megillah. The question is, can he say that? The answer is, if a member of the congregation has his own kosher Megillah scroll and he plans to read it to himself simultaneously with the cantor, it happens all the time, okay? He may likewise recite the blessings silently with the cantor. You doing your own bracha. It's greater. Okay? Having people gathering together and one will say the bracha or shehakol over a drink, it's permitted. It's not recommended. It's best that everybody reply amen and said their own bracha will be more blessings and more amen. Okay? Nonetheless, it is better to listen to the cantor recite the entire congregation, the blessings, since he recite them on behalf of the entire congregation. When the entire congregation performs a mitzvah in a single unified act, each person has performed a superlative mitzvah that enhances God's honor. It's always good to choose when more people around performing a mitzvah. If you have a choice to go to a small synagogue or bigger synagogue, where is recommended to go? Bigger. Obviously, of course, bigger. Because more people celebrating and more people saying amen and more people saying the kedusha is greater. Okay? Kedusha is greater, and it's better to go. And as I just read, that each person has performed a superlative mitzvah. Okay, where is it? When the entire congregation perform a mitzvah in a single unified act, the larger, the better in this mitzvah. Okay. Any questions? Pay attention. If you have a kosher Megillah, and you sang brachot for yourself, you did it a little bit faster than the cantor, and now he finishes his bracha, you wanted to say amen, you can't say amen, because you must go immediately to read the Megillah. Okay, the act of, it's called over le'asiyata, meaning you have to do it immediately. For example, you're saying bracha over soda, candles, bread. You can't talk or do anything before you take a bite from the bread, or you drink, or you light the candles, right? Here, you say brachot over the Megillah, you must read it. So if you say amen, you created an interruption, a break in between, which is not good. Okay? It's very significant and very important to remember these halachot. Okay, brachot is something we are dealing with on a daily basis. Okay, let me skip the way they read the Megillah. Let me just read this important one. Some poskim ruled that it is forbidden to handle a Megillat Esther, a Megillah scroll, with one's bare hands, just as it is forbidden to handle a Torah scroll with one's bare hands. We've learned if you touch the Torah scroll, the parchment, okay, not the box outside, with bare hands, you'll be buried naked, meaning not naked from that mitzvah. I'm just using the language of the Talmud. You disrespect it. Okay, the Torah is the neshama of the Jewish people, of the world, not of the Jewish people. You have to treat it with most respect. But here, having a Megillah, this Megillah is holy as a Torah. What about other things that are written on a parchment, like mezuzah? Very good. You are very good. So mezuzah, but you see people touching mezuzah all the time.
But it's a cover.
No, but they want to see if it's they're so fair sometimes. Really, I'm touching mezuzah all the time when I'm checking mezuzot. So the halacha says. Others rule that one may handle a Megillah scroll with one's bare hands. In practice, it is recommended to wash one's hands before handling the Megillah scroll, since there are poskim who ruled that it's permissible to handle even a Torah scroll after washing hands. We may rely on this leniency regarding a Megillah scroll. And in practice, people touching the Megillah with bare hands, just do it with most respect, okay? And when you're checking mezuzah, this is something you do for the sake of mitzvah. It is permitted, okay? There's Hashem's name in it. This is what protect our houses from bad spirit, bad energy, other forces, human forces, bad neighbors, nudniks, everybody that come to bother you, and all this, So, it's good, yes.
Rabbi, what happened with the Ketoret? Because it's available to the people can buy it.
That's no problem. The Pituma Ketoret usually has been written on a scroll, on a parchment. You can handle it. You can touch it with bare hands, no problem.
It's part of the Torah.
It's not holy like Sefer Torah, the book of Torah.
Thank you.
So, God forbid, chas v'shalom, God forbid, a Torah falls to the ground. What's the halacha? Everybody has to fast.
Yeah.
And it says that this is not a good sign to this congregation, to these people. So they fast that day, and then, in the one hand, it's a bad sign. In the other hand, from Shamayim, they're showing him, giving them a sign, something to fix, something to rectify. Okay. What happened if a Torah scroll fell on the floor? They have to fast. So the halacha says, if someone Megillah scroll slips from his hands to the ground, it is not necessary to fast. But one should give charity in lieu of fasting, instead of fasting. This is true to a mezuzah. It's true to a tefillin. Tefillin, you need to fast. It's more complicated. To be very careful about it. But it means it's a bad sign. If the tefillin fell off your hand. I had the other day, last week, someone came to me to check the mezuzah. I'm glad I asked him a question. I said, what's wrong with the mezuzah? So he says, no, it's been a long time. I didn't check it. I have to check it. Why a long time? When was the last time? He said, last year. So last year is not a long time. People checking every 7 years. Some do every 3.5 years. Some checking every year. But this guy is not. It doesn't look like this. So said, okay, Rabbi, I found it on the floor. So tell him it's not a secret. So I'm not telling you need to fast, but give something for charity. It's a sign for you, okay? Some people think, no, maybe it's a bad glue, I didn't tight it enough. That could be too, but it's also a sign for you that you need to be awakened. I checked his mezuzah. The mezuzah was, Baruch Hashem, kosher. There was nothing wrong with the mezuzah. Okay, it is forbidden to talk while the Megillah is being recited until after the concluding blessing. Beginning blessing, the whole Megillah, and the last bracha, you don't talk. If you must say something, signal. Okay? I would recommend everybody to just sit on a corner, aside, take a quiet place in the shul, focus on the Megillah. It's a very important time in Jewish history. It's one of the greatest mitzvot. Purim has higher level even than Yom Kippurim. Yom Kippur, higher level. Every mitzvah we do with joy. We do with simcha. Okay? So take advantage, enjoy the mitzvah, find a synagogue that you go and be able to hear it correctly with no interruptions. If you know that in the synagogue you're about to go, going to be a lot of kids running all over, don't go there. Don't go there. Find a place that there's discipline, organized. I'm sorry?
You're muted.
You were muted. There we go.
You're muted for a second.
Oh, I was away? Okay. Okay. One of the very important rules is when you read, you must hear what you're saying. It's not like Tfilat Shmoneh Esrei, Tfilat Amidah, silent Tfilah, like we do every day, 3 times a day. You must read out loud. Okay? Anyone who wishes to recite the Megillah for himself must take care to say the words loud enough so that he can hear himself. If he does not, he has not fulfilled the mitzvah at all. Okay? So you're sitting there in the shul, listening to the cantor. If you want to say it by yourself, for yourself, with the cantor, don't sit too close to the cantor because he might hear you and you're bothering him. You will bother him. Just sit and read quietly, but in a way that you'll be able to hear the words that comes out of your mouth. So we've learned about the blessing. We've learned about the significance of that day and reading the Megillah. But one came to me and says, Rabbi, I'm very glad to participate. I've been doing this for some years, but I don't understand any words in Hebrew. Did I fulfill the mitzvah? I can read English, French, Russian. I don't understand the words. So, did I fulfill the mitzvah? Allah says, even if someone does not understand Hebrew at all and does not understand a word of Megillat Esther, he fulfills the mitzvah by listening to it being recited in Hebrew from a scroll written in Hebrew. You don't understand, but your neshama does. So, second thing is study Hebrew. It's not hard. Little by little, you get the words, and you'll be able to understand Hebrew. It's imperative. It's important. Very important. Okay, you'll be able to read from a siddur. Be able to read blessings. Especially men, you're going to get aliyah to the Torah. They're going to let you read the blessing. You can't stand there and stutter. Okay? You have to learn Ivrit. I believe after 10 to 15 classes, you'll be able to study Ivrit, to read Ivrit. Okay, when reciting Megillat Esther, one must be careful not to omit even one word, since many poskim rule that, when I said the word poskim, I mean the rabbis that set up the rules, poskim. So, since many poskim rule that if someone omitted even one word of the Megillah, he has not fulfilled the mitzvah at all. Because of this, it is the cantor responsibility to be careful about it and to be very accurate. Okay, read the words loudly and clearly so that the entire congregation will fulfill the mitzvah of reciting the Megillat Esther through him. The same apply to any other brachot that people are depending on you. And I see it all the time. People swallowing words. I'm always going to use this very common example. Kiddush Shabbat, people saying bracha. Yom HaShishi v'yichudu HaShamayim v'aretz v'chol tzevam v'yichal Elohim b'yom HaShivi. They're saying it, and they're saying it in a way that they're skipping words, they're saying words not correctly, and the bracha over the wine. He might think about the words, but he didn't say it correctly. Definitely the one that was standing there didn't fulfill the mitzvah. He didn't hear a word correctly. If the guy stutter, this is his nature, he has an issue, he's stuttering, or he can't pronounce words correctly because, I don't know, you have missing tooth, or he's old, or whatever the reason. Say the bracha by yourself. Don't count on him because you didn't say bracha. If you're not able to hear it correctly, say the bracha quietly with him without insulting anybody, for yourself, by yourself. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So in those synagogues, you see, this is even emphasized here in the halacha. In those synagogues where the children raise a racket when Hamas name is recited, the cantor must patiently wait for all the noise to die down before he continues. He should also repeat the last word he recited before the interruption in case some people missed it the first time. So you can see some synagogues that are very strict about it, and some don't. Choose your own shul. Okay? Make sure that everybody hearing the words. Because real reading in many synagogues, especially in Israel, it's like a war. People shooting and firecracks and the noises, and they killed Haman. I'm telling you, Haman preferred hell and not to be in that synagogue. So much noise. Sometimes Megillah reading can last for an hour and a half. But I remember as a child, it's fun, and we were waiting for the Megillah reading. Just need to be careful to hear the words, every words. Okay. What if you missed it? So you can complete it using the Chumash, Sidur, or any kind of Megillah that you have in front of you. Better, kosher one made out of a real parchment. One wants to know, you tell me if it's okay or not. We've learned that we must hear the words of the cantor, right? Every word, reading the Megillah. Can he use microphone? And some shuls are big, and they want to use microphone, so people all over the shul, including the women's section, will be able to hear it through the speakers. So normally the answer is yes. Depends on one condition. If without using the speaker, you would be able to hear. So let's say you were able to hear just very quietly, because you're a little bit far. It's still okay. But if you're in a place, in a synagogue, that you won't be able to hear it without the microphone, you definitely didn't fulfill the mitzvah. You had to come closer. So it's permitted to use a microphone. What about listening to a live broadcast through Zoom? Imagine, guys, that I'm reading now the Megillah. Vayhi bimei Achashverosh, and so forth and so on. Or I say bracha now. I give an example. If I had a coffee here, for example, if the students here, you see the students here, would care about the Rabbi and make him coffee, I'm just throwing it out there, or have a soda for him. So no, it's just, don't worry about it, it's too late. No, it's too late now. So we are about to finish. So let's say I have a cup of coffee or a cup of soda. Okay, but you get a mitzvah for the intention, by the way. Yes? So I say bracha. How would you respond? Amen. Amen. The people on the Zoom hear it live? It's live, right? Yeah. Should they respond with amen? Yes. Respond with amen. Even over the phone. What if later they will hear it on a recording on YouTube or something? Yeah. You can say amen. It's not a real time anymore, right? Yeah. Good. So you can say amen over the brachot, over the blessing, any blessing. Okay. It's not a must, but it's recommended. Okay. What about reading Megillah reading? Do I fulfill the mitzvah through a live broadcast? Yes. Zoom, phone, TV, radio.
Didn't they do it that way when COVID was?
When COVID hit, they did it. Some rabbis permit it. The halacha says you don't fulfill the mitzvah when you are not able. Remember the microphone? You might be able to hear original voice. When you hear Zoom, through Zoom, or radio, or TV show, whatever, live broadcast, it's not the real voice. It's going through some channels and energy and all that. Hold on, let me finish. If someone listens to a live broadcast of Megillat Esther over the radio, he has not fulfilled the mitzvah of reciting Megillat Esther. He may, however, respond amen to the blessing recited by the cantor. If it is not live broadcast, he may not respond amen to the blessing either. Corona definitely brought before the rabbi a lot of strange questions and situation. So some hold that, there is no way, people didn't gather in the shul. People stayed at home. Many of them don't know how to read Megillah. So in this special case, they permitted it. Okay? Some applies to a case when people are very sick and they're in the hospital and they can't make it. So in this case, they will, on some conditions, will permit it. For example, I have right here, if someone is hospitalized and he has no way of getting someone to recite the Megillah for him, he should at least listen to the cantor reciting it over the telephone, or today, let's say, a video chat, or through WhatsApp video, something like that. In this way, he will fulfill the mitzvah according to those poskim who rule that it is possible to fulfill it by listening to it via an electronic live broadcast. Okay. In this case, the cantor should not recite the blessings over the Megillah unless he is reciting it at the same time on behalf of himself or others who are present with him. Questions? No? We good? Let me get one more halacha before we closing it. Some have the custom whenever they hear the word Haman, make noise. Or some like to, remember how we say we wipe out the name of Haman, to write a Haman on the back of the bottom of your shoe. You can do that and erase it like that. Or some says, some poskim cited a custom that when the cantor mentioned the name of Haman, the congregation declares, they say it out loud, may the Shem, they're saying, Veshem Reshaim Yirkav. 3 words, it's come from Proverbs 10:7. Mishlei. May the name of the wicked rot. Okay? So you see, again, it's the power of words. We're not saying things in vain. There's a reason for why we're saying things or not saying. Okay. Okay. It is forbidden to speak during the reciting of the Megillah until after the final blessing is recited. If someone did interrupt and speak while the cantor continued onward, so that the one who spoke missed several words, the one who spoke has not fulfilled his obligation, and he must recite the Megillah again, beginning from the verse where he interrupted. Okay? Bottom line, anything you didn't hear, complete it. Do it quickly, because the cantor is running. You need to chase after the train. Okay? Any questions? Yes.
So if it's being said in Hebrew, and you're hearing it, and it's okay.
Complete it on the English side.
In Hebrew, huh?
Complete the English part.
So like you can follow along in English like the best you can, and it's like you're still.
Yeah, till you catch up.
Okay.
It makes it more complicated when you speak a different language. They have to compare. We are in the same place. We're not in the same place. You don't know where we're at.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So the solution: learn Hebrew, or make sure you hear every word the cantor is saying. Otherwise, it's going to cause a lot of problems. Next time, Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to discuss the halacha of mishloach manot. The rationale for the mitzvah of mishloach manot. Why we're doing this? How much to give? To whom we're giving? There's a lot of halachot. People doing every year mishloach manot. They want to fulfill the mitzvah, and they're not fulfilling the mitzvah because they are sending wrong items, or to the wrong people, or not in the right way. Okay? So make sure Be'ezrat Hashem to participate next week on this class. Any questions? I want to bless you, everybody. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. We have a question. Earlier you saying that it's this holiday is gonna be like bigger than Yom Kippur, not bigger, like more important than Yom Kippur, and you were muted. So can you repeat that, please?
Yes. Anytime, by the way, you miss part of a class, you can watch it later on YouTube, Ohev Israel YouTube channel. Or go to Facebook. You can find it there. Just put the words Ronen Shimon on Facebook. Yom Kippur, just in a nutshell, I said that it's a very significant day on the Jewish calendar. But yet, Yom Purim, it's greater in its level than Yom Kippurim. Because one of the reasons is because Yom Kippur, which is it's an atonement day, and you atone because you're fasting and you're crying for Hashem and you ask for forgiveness. You do it out of fear. Here we are performing mitzvah out of love and joy, and we're happy, and this is the highest level to be at all time. And I give an example. It's a great thing to say tefillah, prayers, or to ask from Hashem things that you need with crying, with tears. He opens gates, definitely. But on a higher level is with joy, with simcha. It's much harder. It's easy to cry, to complain. We have a lot of reasons. But to be joyful, and find reasons to be joyful, it's a little bit harder for some people. And for example, prophecy. A prophet will never get prophecy if he is in a status of sadness. He must be joyful. He must be happy. This is why you can read it in the book of Samuel A, that they had a band that played music, and the prophet would go there. The spirit would elevate it from the singing, because the singing hits the neshama, goes directly to the neshama. This is why it's important to listen to a correct music, a good music, not wrong music. We mentioned that on Shabbat, remember? On Shabbat class. And then it brings happiness and joy to your neshama, to your body. And now you are ready, you are like a vessel to receive a prophecy. If you be sad, if you be upset, you won't get it. For example, Yaakov was a prophet, but his prophecy blocked from him. He is a prophet. He should know where Yosef is at. He didn't know because he was sad. And it says, the Psukim clearly said, he refuses to be comforted. He was so, his beloved son disappeared, doesn't know what's happened to him. So all these years, he couldn't receive prophecy because he was sad. Okay, that's just an example. I hope I answered your question. Let me see if I have here more questions. I have recording. All prayers should be in Hebrew, right? Yes, all prayers and brachot, blessing, should be in Hebrew, or said in English, or better, transliteration, because transliteration, you're actually imitating the Hebrew words. For example, ata, it means you read it A-T-A, ata. For example, okay? Any more questions? Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. You should have a wonderful week. Rest of the week. You should have a great parnasah and great livelihood, and should be always joyful.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, everyone.
Laila tov.
Laila tov. On behalf of Ohev Israel Foundation, I want to thank all the participants. Thank you.